Hey everyone. I guess this is a pretty topical video, because of what happened a few days ago, the horrible shooting in Connecticut. And I thought I would approach this from a slightly different manner to everybody else. But first of all, I just want to say, if I were to receive any comments, basically people saying that I'm showing a lack of respect for families and the people who have been killed in this atrocity, then I would kind of say, shut the hell up. I have as much respect, and I'm just as horrified as anybody else by this. First and foremost, it is a horrible act. It should never have happened. And my thoughts go to all the families that have been affected by this. It's not going to be just families, it's going to be friends. There's a huge shockwave of people who have been affected by this, directly and indirectly. Now, the reason it kind of annoys me when people say that you're distracting from the atrocity, that to me says that people don't really want to think, because this shooting has brought up several issues, gun policy being one of the main ones. And people are saying you shouldn't be talking about gun policy, you should be thinking of the families. Well, you can't ignore the fact that America has a serious gun problem. However, I'm not going to talk about that. This is a mental health blog, and I'm going to try and keep it as such. So, my weighing in on the matter is, this never should have happened. However, I personally cannot get angry at the guy who did it. That is going to sound bizarre to a lot of people, but I just cannot get angry at him specifically. As a person, as an individual, no, he is not where my anger and my wrath is directed in this situation. Where my anger is directed, if you have kind of followed the story a little bit and heard some of the more kind of the background parts of the story and the background of the guy who's done it, he was a loner. I think he was diagnosed with Asperger's, but he could well have been a little bit further up the autistic spectrum. He was a loner and quoted as being a troubled genius. No one spoke to him. He was highly intelligent, extremely clever guy from what we've seen, but nobody wanted to talk to him. He was from a family where he maybe didn't have such a great relationship with his family, with his parents, and basically he was ignored. He clearly had mental health problems. That's a given. And they were ignored. In a way, I feel sorry for the guy. Not, take the killing aside. I feel sorry for the guy that it came to this. That he was ignored his whole life. By his parents, by the school, by everybody. And nobody tried to help this guy. And I wonder how different things could have been if America maybe concentrated a little bit more. Not just America, there's, no mental health care is completely perfect. But maybe if they concentrated a bit more on better mental health care and better healthcare in general, rather than, having such a free policy on guns and the right to bear arms, which is ridiculously outdated, and the mentality behind this thing, I remember years and years ago talking to a family. This is when we were queuing Disneyland in Florida for a ride, and we just got talking to this American family. I can't remember where they were from, but I specifically remember hearing this guy. We were talking to each other, and he was like, "Oh no, none of us in our town lock our doors. We've all got guns," which is just the wrong approach completely. Just, anyway, another thing that I wanted to say is it's kind of come out now that all the shots and all the people who died, they were all shot twice at point blank range. So this guy, he wasn't, he didn't just have a gun and start shooting aimlessly and wildly. He knew exactly what he was doing. Okay? 2 shots, point blank range. He knew exactly what he was doing. And again, it has emerged that his own mother, who is the first person he killed that day, his own mother was a massive gun enthusiast who used to take him regularly down to the shooting range to practice his aim. That's what gets me angry. The fact that A, he never had any help, and B, his own mother, took her mentally ill son out shooting. Just, I hope kind of the context now helps you to realise that I can't feel sorry for this guy. Obviously, is what he did wrong? Of course it's wrong. I shouldn't even have to answer that pretty stupid rhetorical question. But I cannot, obviously with these kind of shootings, and when this kind of stuff happens, the gunman always turns the gun on themselves. But let's say, hypothetically, he hadn't turned the gun on himself, and the police in America, okay, again, we're really stretching the imagination here, but the police hadn't killed him, or they hadn't shot to kill. I'll just let you think about that one for a second. The entire nation would be calling for this guy's head on a spike. And, I can fully understand the outrage of such an act, but if you stop and think about it for just a second, this guy needed help. This guy needed help his entire life. And he never got it. And I think that is also something that's very sad. Because he's just one guy. Or he was one person. There are plenty of people out there with mental health problems, with various mental health problems, whether they are aware of them or not. And they are not getting the proper help and treatment that they need. And I'm going to be talking about this again in a later video with my personal experience. But there have been times where I've not had the proper care that I needed. And what happened to me then was I decided to kind of stay away from doctors for a while, mentally. Yeah, it can go very, very wrong in some cases. And I just want people to have a think about where their anger should be directed. And again, if people are saying, this detracts from the tragedy itself, and you should be thinking about the kids, basically, that's just stopping you from thinking, full stop. That to me says that you don't want to think about the core problems here. You just want to be blindly outraged and have some sympathy for the families, quite rightly so, sympathy for the families, but you don't want to deal with the underlying issues. It's a case of, oh well, this is a tragedy, this is horrible, blah, blah, shake a fist at the guy who did it, and condolences to the families. But nothing ever gets done. And this, Columbine is kind of before my remembering time. I was about 8 years old when it happened, and I don't have that great a memory. But again, Columbine was pretty damn fucking nasty, and what got done there? Not very much, really. It's sad to say, and I'm just kind of counting down the days until the NRA decide to do a fucking rally in Connecticut, because they quite like to do that. 10 days after Columbine, they decided to do a rally in Denver, and in Flint, in Michigan. Not long after a 6-year-old boy shot a 6-year-old girl, they did a gun rally there. So if you're in Connecticut, expect to see the NRA any day now. But I have widely detracted from my point, and I'm going to leave the video there because I'm starting to get a little bit angry. So, I realise this is kind of a controversial topic and a controversial video. I do have a couple more videos lined up. One of them, again, will be a pretty controversial topic, but not quite as in your face with regards to it being current and in the news. So, with that, I will see you again soon. And yeah, this is Crazy Talk. Have a lovely day.